Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In today's live stream, we have eye-opening information, and I really believe that you do not really want to miss any of this great, exciting stuff. So, as usual, welcome to Z Corner, the community television station where you can get to air out your opinions. And of course, today, if you really want to be part of today's conversations, please click on the link in the comment section. So I'm posting the link right now. So feel free to participate because we really want to hear your voices, your opinions. And of course, you already see the topics that we are going to be talking about in the description. So feel free to add your voices. I go by the name of Muna, the unofficial Tunga. And of course, I will be welcoming my panelists who are going to help me decipher a lot of things that we are going to be talking about. As usual, when you get to this particular platform, be very brief, be very concise. Make sure that you give out your points and your opinions in about 90 seconds because time is very important. So without further ado, because I really hate wasting time, you guys already know what to do. Share this video right now. Share it on your timeline. Share it in 5 different Facebook pages or rather groups, and just basically help us grow. So without further ado, let's watch some of some of these amazing things that we are going to be talking about today. So first of all, we are going to be talking about something that was said by Chitimukulu a while back. So I just wanted to share this so that you can have the context of what I will be talking about in today's episode. So please remember, share this video right now before we jump into the exciting things. So let us start and proceed.
They want to demonstrate, protest at the Chalumafla corruption, Chalumafla Insambuta kuri freedom of expression.
Freedom of expression, in fact, it has turned to freedom of stupidity.
Eh?
It is now freedom of stupidity. Umuntu kuti alanda vevyalefu muno mucha. Kuti atukana, kuti achitanshi bantu kafipi barukuku. Kuti antuka kale bamuchereka beza pano pa maredi banantu ni freedom ya musango shibalefu. Corruption in one is big business throughout the world. We are fighting corruption without that. Corruption is muno muchalo mweka mubola ba FIFA shani tabomfwako. Corruption is throughout the world because corruption is big business. Na poverty ma big businesses tukwete muno chalo. So ito viene kukana umfwa. Panto no bae but there are very few people thinking this country. If you bale so nga takuli abale tontonga ni fyo fin. Freedom of expression. In fact, there is what is called freedom of stupidity, mono muchalo. Democracy has brought in freedom of stupidity. Social media balanda pepia upo. They are not controlled. Nobody initially for bala tukana. You are karungu. Number finish wale for afimbi.
Your freedom of
Yeah, so before we go on, right, obviously we are rolling right now. Please let me know where you are watching me from. Konsepekuma areas, if you're representing your city, please let us know where you are watching us from. And just like I told you, share this video because we are going to be talking about a lot of eye-opening things and you do not really want to miss it. So remember, share it on your timeline and in 5 different Facebook pages. So, Bakabushi investigator, Munifelaka?
Laka boss,
Good. I really like the fact that you're very sharp and you're not really snoozing. So what do you think about today's topic? What do you think about what Chitimukulu said with regards to corruption and poverty being big businesses?
I'm sure about what Chitimukulu said. What he said, what I can say is, to me, I can't get it as a very vital point by saying that it's freedom of stupidity. No. About the problem, we need to talk. About the problem, that freedom to land. So what the chief said, or rather paraphrased, I'm against with that word of freedom of stupidity. I'm against. Our president has given us a freedom of speech. which we need to talk where we've seen something which is wrong.
Yeah.
Instead of us being quiet,
Kabushi investigator, let me just clarify this point for you and for the viewer as well. That clip that I just played you is from a while back. It's not something which is recent. It's something that he said probably 1 or 2 years ago, something from the past. So don't really confuse it with today's happening. I just wanted to clarify that point so that people can get exactly where we're coming from. Yeah, but you can carry on.
Okay, try to put me in a clear direction. So, okay, or rather make me understand the point, what he was trying to say.
All right. Okay. So we'll get that. In the meantime, Kabushi graduate. Welcome to the program, Laka. Today I've got Kabushi investigator and Kabushi graduate. There's a competition about Kabushi. What's going on?
Thank you very much, Mona. How are you? Or should I say good evening? Also, good evening to you, our new Kabushi investigator. How are you?
Kabushi, we're in a competition.
Okay,
right.
Mr. Mona, kindly quick give us what we are discussing today, actually, so that I'm able to get the full information of what. Yeah.
In the meantime, let's continue watching this Chitimukulu sort of eye-opening point of view. So let's just continue watching it. You're going to get the context. Then I also have Jen coming through. Jen, good evening. Yeah, so anyway, let me just continue playing the video right now so that we don't really waste a lot of time. Hold on, let me share the screen one more time. So I'll just play it from the beginning because I'm thought about join. So let me just play it from the beginning, then we'll finish it. So I'm starting from the beginning. So move with Chabuino, then I'll ask you some questions later.
You see, they want to demonstrate protest at the corruption, kuri freedom of expression. Freedom
of expression, in fact, it has turned to freedom of stupidity.
Eh?
It is now freedom of stupidity. Umuntu kuti alanda vevyalefu amuno mucha. Kuti atukana, kuti achitanshi bantuka pipi barukuku. Kuti antuka kale. Bamuchereka beza panopa maredio balantuka. Ni freedom ya musango shibalefu. Poverty, corruption ni intwani. Is big business throughout the world.
Yeah, so there the chief said corruption is big business in the world. Corruption and poverty is big business in the world. So let's continue listening.
Poverty, corruption ni intwani. Is big business throughout the world. We are fighting corruption in Vatican. Corruption ili muno muchalo mweka. Mubola ba FIFA siani. Tabomfwako. Corruption is throughout the world because corruption is big business. Na poverty ema big businesses tukwete muno chalo. So, if you viene kukana umfwa. Pantu ono bae bati there are very few people think in this country. If you bale mba. So nga takuli abale tontonga ni ifyo fin. Freedom of expression. In fact, there is what is called freedom of stupidity, monomuchalo. Democracy has brought in freedom of stupidity. Social media, balanda, fifia upo. They are not controlled. Nobody initially for balatukana. You are karungu. Number finish wale for fimbi.
Your freedom of
you are karungu.
Then in this next segment, the chief talks about how Bemba people are sort of the main determiners of who's going to be able to rule Zambia. Because according to Chief Chitimukulu, right, Bembas, according to history, have always selected Zambia's next president. So let's continue listening.
Saudi province mu yatuchira yanso kwakanya yatatu ama province uko chichira Saudi province nawe ekibyo balichi remember ifo nyungurufi balembesha 150 abasala 50,000 ifo voter pass wale chitaishi aba nabo nabe ishibe kirimo wena tiawo mukwaina ngo batuteke bambi ala ukalira ine ndini nkota nomba I can go anytime. Remember, therefore, I came to the one. Ukutilanga ifye mwakula ikarefi uwe mbabuka prostrate. So number you see ntwani kane takuli commitment. Uwe mbake ito chivipi takuli kusakamana. Kuti chintu chirenda shani. Takuli kula kukuvota yo ifye bale chitete tufishwe. Tabeshi kuti voti yaine kusunga echalo. Ekuibe bubemba ukuyanga tina 21%. Mishoni nselena nguko yalomba fi. So abemba fi bavota sana. Bavota sana. Echo balona 21%. Eba filo kuchita determine future kino kyalo. Eba filo kusala. Uyu wala tekani. Mutwale sala mwana waza twamupa. Nibo tubatwate uje. So bemba should determine. Eba filo determine leader. Okay. What you said it to me? Oh, wala tuteka ni. Takawa na kapatu. Oh, teke ni kaunda wakumalawi. Bantwani batuteka po bachiruba. Batuteka po rupia banda ba mais ba muba. Anyone kuti ateka chikuru president ama games all right.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got that point. So basically what he was saying is Bembas are 21% of our population. So therefore, according to history and statistics, they've always determined who would rule Zambia or who is likely to rule Zambia. So he said Kaunda was chosen and the others were also chosen as well. So obviously the Bemba tribe is very influential when it comes to picking and determining who the next leaders are going to be. So I really hope that you got that point loud and clear. So basically there are two things that we can talk about here. The first one is the corruption and poverty aspect of this particular video. And then we can also talk about, according to Chief Chitimukulu, the power that he has and the people that he presides over. So who's going to go for that one? Quick take, 90 seconds.
Okay, I think I'll get that one.
All right, go for it.
At first, sorry, I want to apologize for what I was saying because I didn't understand the whole speech that Chitimukulu talked about. Corruption is a big business in the world. That's true, and it's very much vital, and he talked about it. Corruption is something that is making a lot of people to benefit from it, whereby you find that you need a job. At least give me a 5,000, then I'll change to. You want pay 5,000, I win. I'll quatirapo profit na gumpia pa kwatiri. And once abantu baresanga kwati ila a system oyo tufire twachitana nkani. Idia a system what for the twikariramu. Yakwabati when you find something, it's like you be an agent to something. You are an agent. Then if that person gives you money, then you provide or you provide the service. And the other thing is
all right. So let me get you right, Kabushi investigator. So you are for the notion, and you agree with him. Corruption is a big business, so therefore we should promote it, and we should encourage our citizens to, participate in corruption.
No, I'm not like that. Try to understand what I'm saying. It's a concept. I'm just trying to put a short story on that. So such that you find that a lot of people, they are going with it because dialect things, they are not using them. I'm sure they are thinking that it's taking long to use a dialect thing or a dialect procedure. So we have to be against of corruption. And in the things that we can use to find corruption is we need to avoid. Let's try by all means we push our files, we push our papers, we try by all means to see what we can do in order to fight corruption. Corruption was there even in the time of Kaunda, Mwanawasa, but it wasn't high like this. Nowadays, corruption is everywhere. That's the reason why Chitimukulu paraphrased to say that it is a business and it's making others to be rich because of us people. But if me, Moses, I say that, sorry, Kavushi investigator, I say that no to corruption. If I need a job, I'll use my papers, I'll use my documents to go and apply for a job. If it will take long, then I'll wait. We don't have to promote corruption. The other point is Zambians are the one who should determine to choose a president, or we are the ones to choose a president. It's true. We are the one who knows how to choose. We are the one who have rights to choose a president. We are the one. So you would find that.
All right, it seems the Kavushi investigator has frozen. So, Kavushi graduate, what is your take on these things that we brought about with regards to Chitimukulu's statements? Kavushi graduate.
Are you getting me?
Yes, loud and clear. All right. Okay. So it seems the Kavushi graduate and the Kavushi investigator are kind of having network issues. So I pass the ball to you. What do you think about the previous statements that were made by Chief Chitimukulu with regards to corruption, poverty, and also the fact that the Bemba tribe is responsible because they hold the majority the majority votes to sort of determine the president of Zambia? So let me know in the comment section. I will be reading your comments right now. So Sir Jacob says Kavushi like father like son, bulldozer, differentiate pathological corruption from connection. Okay. What else do we have? It seems the Kavushi graduate is here. But Kavushi graduate, how's the network treating you?
The network, that side is showing that it's really bad, but I'm using Airtel. Me, it's fine. But when I'm trying to log in, that's when it's tripping. But as for now, I think it's fine.
All right, okay.
I think you're able to
go on.
me.
Let's get with the program. What are your opinions with regards to the video that I just played?
I'll start with the first video. We have heard how the chief. That's why there's what we call freedom of expression. Even the one which he used while he was in studio, that is freedom of expression. Now, I don't know the definition of freedom of stupidity. You see, Muna, long time ago, you see, I think to what Zambia is right now, that primitive and ignorance, some of the chiefs, they have contributed to it because people, they were living in fear. They were being hijacked. So when you are in that particular chiefdom, you are unable to express yourself. So, and most of these cases used to happen to most of the women. They are the ones that were, much of their rights were infringed. You know, muma famu mwakweba tinangu, aupo muntu mwaiche, you know, those parents, as long as those parents, they are poor, they have no or none little to say about that marriage, because once someone goes to the chief, he actually offers some of the sacrifices, he take the stuff to the chief. The chief, you find that these chiefs, they are so much, they were very much, I don't know the term which I can use, but it's a loyal kubantu. I don't know about bit by bit. When you understand the term of slave trades, these are the same chiefs used to sell their own people. So I think that's why now I know where the origin of Chimbakambiri being tribe, because actually his chief is the one who's telling people. He's preaching to their chiefdom to say, Ababemba eba ranjati yo eba kambok teka Zambia. Ineba muna I've learned history. Tapapo mbuko po Bembas ababembe bakwata percentage yikulu. Bachief bafuire baishi babuno bwino bali abakulu. Luba runda migration ababemba batuntukira kwisa. Even the laws bafuma kwisa batonga bafuma kwisa. Mwamona? There are some kingdoms kwali one mwata yamvo mwata kazembe chikurama came to
All right, Chaparakwatsi Kabushi graduate network as usual. So Whiteson Piri says when he says corruption being a big business, he means it's a tool of the day worldwide, just like HIV and AIDS. The more you embrace the fight against them, the more you receive the money from donors. That's what he meant, not embracing and encouraging it. No. All right, so thanks Whiteson Piri for that. But Moses, Laka. Good. So there's a lot of people watching you. You're laid back like that. I don't know. Is that too casual?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So what's your contribution to the topic?
Although I've come late, but I would like to contribute on the statement from the chief. I don't know which chief with that.
Yes, and just to clarify, that statement was made a long time ago, about a year or 2 years ago, but it's still relevant. But go on.
Yeah, my contribution is just the advice to the same statement. Is a chief leading a group of people, I can say the kingdom. Therefore, he should weigh before he speak to the multitude of people. He's a reader. Let him speak things which is able to unite Zambia. We are one Zambia, one nation. A reader like him, a reader like a president and some other political leaders, they should find ways and means. I mean the word which is going to unite Zambia, to bring people together as one, not dividing people. That is my contribution.
Right. And then I also have another question, because we obviously experienced in the past where we saw chiefs being aligned with political parties. Are chiefs supposed to be non-partisan, or they're supposed to be partisan people? How is it supposed to be?
From my observation, chiefs should be neutral. They are chiefs, and every politician belongs to them. He is like a son or a daughter, be maybe a woman or a man. So a chief should be just like, maybe I can give you an example of ECZ. ECZ commissioner taking charge of the election. Those people are entitled to be neutral, not to be sidelined with one political party. No, even the chief, that respect should be continued.
Understood.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take in a question from Joza Ernest Chikasa Mpanduki. She says, I think she's a woman, I think the chief didn't see the change of government coming. I can't imagine what he is feeling, especially if he sees this clip. Well, yeah, that's a good one. Sir Jacobs says, I heard in the video where the chief said, Northern Province, blah, blah, blah. Understand that northern part of Zambia has different tribes which embrace themselves as Bembas. So he doesn't have the statistics. I agree with Kabushi graduate. Okay, so anyway, let's move on to the next point. In the meantime, continue sharing this episode, because we are now getting to another topic and discussion. So with regards to a lot of answers that we need as a nation, right? We need to figure out exactly where certain money has been coming from and how, for example, previous political parties were being funded. Because I remember a while back, there was a situation where the ministers had to pay back the money which they owed the government, because they illegally got paid at a certain time frame. And of course, they were misled by President Lungu, because according to the rules and the laws of the nation, right, they weren't supposed to be getting paid after certain things happened. But we witnessed a correction of this particular moment in history, and the ministers were sort of forced, or rather they were told to pay back the money which they illegally got paid. And along the line, right, we heard that a very good Samaritan or good Samaritans paid this amount of money for them, because a lot of ministers were saying 55,000 kwacha was a lot of money they couldn't afford to pay back. And specifically, given Lubinda, Honorable given Lubinda, he was one of the people who was against the idea of paying back, saying he didn't really have the money. And afterwards, we saw good Samaritans, people with a lot of generosity, pay back the money. So where did this money come from, and who exactly paid this money on behalf of the ministers? So before we do that, right, let's watch this video from last year, because it's really eye-opening. And since a lot of you have been asking about the Clique of Thieves statements and these elite type of people, right, because a lot of you are curious as to know who these people are. So my little understanding is, if you are able to pinpoint the people who are generously donating money and bailing a lot of affiliated people, these are the people who are very, very likely to know who the elite people are. So anyway, let me just take you back to last year, and let's watch this video right now. So Kabushi Investigator, just watch this with me, then I'll give you some questions a little bit later.
This is your diamond insight for tonight. Of Given Lubinda's lamentation over payback. Laughter must have certainly gripped the politically active Zambians to hear the Justice Minister Given Lubinda cannot pay back within 30 days the salaries and allowances he received illegally in 2016 when he overstayed for 3 months in office after Parliament was dissolved in May. The laughter is generated from Mr. Lubinda's joke that if he paid back the 56,000 kwacha within 30 days, his family would starve. If the rich man would have enjoyed laughing out at this jest, but coming from Mr. Lubinda, we say he needs prayers to stop mocking poor Zambians who look after him very well. For those who do not know Mr. Lubinda and his credit worthiness, of course, the amount being asked for as payback is too huge for the minister who has held the Kawata parliamentary seat since 2006. But in the 14 years that Mr. Lubinda has been Member of Parliament and has held several ministerial positions, he cannot argue that he has been a beneficiary of 5 gratuities and is waiting for another one in 2021 before Parliament is dissolved. And we know that mid-term and at the end of the term, gratuities after 5 years are not small change, as MPs receive as much as 200,000 kwacha. This gratuity is aside the seating allowances paid to members of Parliament. Then come the month end, and Mr. Lubinda and his colleagues will be laughing all the way to the bank, counting their thousands of kwachas. Knowing Mr. Lubinda as we do, the Justice Minister always does justice to his emoluments. Mr. Lubinda should read out his declaration of assets and liabilities form before the Chief Justice and probably publish them to convince the whole world that indeed he cannot afford to pay back the illegal salaries and allowance he received in 2016. Has Mr. Lubinda forgotten that he declared his credit worthiness in 2016 at 25 million kwacha? Before the Chief Justice, his savings were declared at 1.1 million kwacha and cash at hand as 12,000 kwacha. We don't want to talk about his 55,000 kwacha farm in Chilawombwe, his Range Rover costing 340,000 kwacha, and his guns. While the minister has all the right to apply his negotiation skills, we do not expect him to think he can fool all Zambians. What Mr. Lubinda should know is that he knew about the payback on August 8, 2016, when the Constitutional Court ruled that the ministers and deputy ministers who continued in office after Parliament was dissolved should pay back the salaries and allowances. It is Mr. Lubinda and his colleagues who have been challenging the payback ruling and therefore should have known what to do if they lost, just like they have lost. Therefore, Mr. Justice Minister, the 30 days the Constitutional Court has given is just the end of the game of the 2016 ruling, which is bearing the deadline for payback. The fact is that you didn't want to pay, and even now, you don't want to pay. What is forcing Mr. Lubinda to negotiate over the payback is the appetite for political office next year.
All right, so that was a short glimpse of what happened a while back. So now the question remains, who paid for the ministers and where did this money come from? Just basically doing a basic paper trail of those transactions will obviously lead you into, you know, a lot of different origins for a lot of things. So anyway, I'm not really here to help the ACC and the DEC do their jobs, right? But of course, ever since the president talked about an elite group of people, right, a cabal of some sort, you know, you can do the mathematics yourselves. You can add one and one, you know, to basically get your answer. So we need to find out a lot of things with regards to a lot of issues, and the proof is obviously in the pudding. It's clear to see. It's clear to see. I've already given you enough evidence. But anyway, let me talk to Mr. Pombo right now. How are you doing, sir? Good evening, and how's Italy?
Hello, good evening, Mr. Muna. Thank you so much. I'm okay. It's cold. Well, we are slowly entering into winter, so it's a little bit cold, but it's a lovely weather. The program is interesting. I think both discussions on our chief Chitimukulu and this current now, I think the theme is quite interesting.
Right. So what is your contribution?
My contribution, Mr. Muna, is the last argument you are discussing, why they did not want to pay, or when they said well-wishers have paid. You know, the Patriotic Front, even now, I think they are finding it very difficult to find out, to accept how they have lost the elections. They find it very difficult because I will always repeat my theory. They did infiltrate all the institutions in Zambia, private and public institutions, even the militaries. I think they have taken their people, nieces, nephews, in even the police service and even in the army. It's not a secret. We know this. So they find it very difficult. Now, listen, when the president accused the Zambians that Zambians, you don't read, you have a very bad culture of reading. Do you remember? I remember that. Yeah, he said, Zambians, it's not my fault if you have a very bad culture of reading, right? You know, if it was here in Europe, Mr. Muna, just on that point, lying to the citizen, to the country, the president was supposed to resign. He was going to be asked to resign. You cannot cheat the citizens. But we are talking to the Patriotic Front, not the PF of the Honorable Mr. Michael Sata, who I respected very much. May his soul rest in peace. Michael Sata was a great person, but our president, our ex-president, Mr. Lungu, has really showed he has disappointed the country anyway. It's everyone knows, even the diehards, the Bowman Lusambo, all these people are defending Mr. Lungu. Mr. Lungu has done a great harm to the country. Even now, the Chitimukulu people, all these people, I think everyone knows, even our chief Chitimukulu, I respect my chief from Luapula. So Chitimukulu in the northern, I think, is also our chief. Anyway, we respect him. But all these things is Mr. Moon, I repeat today, I have analyzed the politics of the PF. They use certain philosophy. It's a philosophy. When they say we don't know who gassed the Zambians, we did not know. Who sold Mukula tree? We don't know. Who wanted the Chimtengo forest? We don't know. Who bought the bank with all those, we don't know. Now, that is a philosophy. It's not that the PF, they don't know. It's not that our President Lungu didn't know, but it's a philosophy. They have adopted that philosophy. If you are asked to give accountability, you answer, we don't know. Who killed in Samansama? There was Chitotela, no, not Chitotela. There was that Minister of Home Affairs. Who was that guy? The former Minister of Home Affairs.
Stephen Kampyongo.
Stephen Kampyongo, who killed in Samansama. We knew that there is a group of mercenaries from a foreign country. Do you remember this statement? There is a group of mercenaries from a foreign country. So we are appealing to this group of foreigners, please leave the country straightforward, or else we are coming to arrest you. How can you tell a mercenary to leave the country? Go and arrest them. You come on, you gentlemen. This cheap philosophy they used. Even now, the PF, they are using a cheap philosophy. We don't know. Can you explain, where is your money, the money that you've taken, all that money? We don't know, we don't have. Who helped you to pay? We cannot tell. Accountability, these guys are fallen. And for sure, if the PF, I don't hate anyone. I have my friends who are also in PF. With this tendency and with this attitude, PF will never come back into power. They will never come back. You cannot teach the Zambians, Mr. Muna, a lot of our youth, they have gone to school now. We are sad, we still have a lot of those uneducated youth, but a lot of our friends, now they have gone to school. You cannot continue cheating them. You cannot. So, what I would like to say is this. There was no accountability. Not even from the police. What the police were doing, you ask the police, who did that? They will never tell you. The only army, the army had my respect even now. They never mixed up themselves in some certain funny attitude and funny conduct. But our police, the council, the government,
Mr. Pombo, you're freezing. You're kind of leaving us hanging there. So anyway, let's bump it over to the Kavushi graduate. Kavushi graduate, Mwaweleni, give us a quick take.
Itself, what are you doing? And
I'm still on the issue of the chief. Kaidi, you see, if a leader like him can go on social media or on a radio and start saying that, I think I've read one comment here say the Bemba, they are not tribal. At least they voted out in numbers more than what Southern Province did. Number one, analyze a history, lead to history. These people, they have been fighting, mamona. Kuraba kwati badi kwa takaraka beef kari adonsa kuraba otuma saifa, mamona. I think Inesha Monapo, Rosie, Tonga, they come on social media and say, do not vote for Bembas, Moimona, because Aba Fiambi Shefiso, Babemba. And remember, history of Babemba in that's Babemba in Bakabola. Baresta Kamushaka, the week, Bayakashta attack, Filafina Vasta Konka. So, for those who know history, they know the Bembas very well. But you know, we are not supposed to start living like that. That's why in Gafia Shupasana, we should be getting many women from Tonga. We go and marry them off Kubabemba Kudia, because there are some intermarriages. Waopa Komubemba, Opa Kom Tonga. So in Eshmona Papa tribe, you know, I'm a villages. That's why I'm saying people, they are too much ignorance. Now, never ECZ when they are making these voting days or ama campaigns, they're supposed to be creating workshop. Muni where ama areas fia para kumushi. Pano kuvota bavota so mufuire murete mwana. Badi ipatu rababemba limbita bako kuma Southern Province. Kuikara mwaita bonso so that you establish that good rapport. Mwapanga pisa kodi mitundu. Busheni peso potu washaire mwe bantu wakaresa. Mwaranshanya mwe bantu. Now it comes kuri yo mwashande aba given Lubinda. Ine I would wonder mwashaba mune insara.
All right, the Kabushi graduates network.
So insara ingomfa given. Hello.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're back.
Hello?
Go on. You're back. All right. Okay. So Kabushi graduates.
Insara ever given Lubinda venga kwata.
No, go on. Boss.
Hello.
Yeah, you can go on.
Yeah, Nakachinda pali ba former Minister of Justice were given Lubinda Baranjati. Where would I get that amount of money to pay? I think instead of a muna ya rive upsan, and instead of personal owning for our given window being for upsan. Tidy abantu by some certificates in mass stages. But there is no way a company already paid umuntu wadi ni minister. That's why mama na fema Zambians tweeted shishita mu mind okutontonkanya. Mini nishuri uri minister kwata mama shares.
I've got a question because that company or those Good Samaritans weren't disclosed. We didn't see it. So because we didn't know exactly where this company came from. They ended up clearing all the debts. And how did that company get all that money and what were they benefiting from? That's the actual real question that we need to ask. Like for me personally, I don't really care whether they, these Good Samaritans paid for them, but I just want to know who are these guys? How did they get the money and what incentivized them to do so? At least there has to be some sort of revelation with regards to the Good Samaritans because it's important to know.
I think you have actually asked a good question. But what we need to know about Muna as at now, do we have Good Samaritans in this country? Because quite by the balanda, scratch your back and I'll scratch yours. Scratch mine and I'll scratch yours. So I am a Good Samaritan, Muna. By the definition of who is a Good Samaritan. And even if I am a Good Samaritan, what type of company or a business were they running for them to come in ahead to help a minister who was someone who was a minister? Mamona, what connection was there? Because never muna, I expect a service, Mamona. So a papa because something of which I can say a corruption rather. Because there's no muna and
allegedly. Like I'm suing him allegedly, reportedly. Allegedly.
No. Mwae monaka. So, novo nderanda fyakwe bati. If ofina got vaisa, Good Samaritan. Nderondra bu Good Samaritan mom Zambia. And no one that's vacancy winga. Ine nderondora according. So Good Samaritan. Na isana mi pere ndarama. I will expect a service or a favor from somewhere. Limbi bamuna limbi nuwa mwaba kwete connection hii kuruku other country. So nombona sasa ngati bamuna you have a problem. I'll come to you as a Good Samaritan. So na ubu Good Samaritan bamuna buwa bapa pisana mamona. Now those people they haven't been mentioned mamona. Nangu bamuna limbi kumba ni mukuchimona. Kumwande telefini feko hati nangu for instance I have a court issue. Then I have a certain company. Now that company na igwata nangu for instance for example nko ngoe na ba ZRA ora basala that the company today share ora mba muna na muna mo potential mudine so ina ra ingisha munomba na ra ingisha moshani mwana isa kumbali kuline indala mesh momona inasha kala that company ya chite yanga for I will say a Good Samaritan. That's where the Good Samaritan it also helps me in court. Because whether shimurumbu ena nguni murumbura, as long as there is that term a Good Samaritan. So apofo waitere na mukumona kwandi. That's my own opinion and view.
All right, MP, let's pass it over to Mr. Mtonga. A quick one, 90 seconds, your contributions.
Good evening, everyone, and the viewers.
Good evening.
Well, like my Kawushi graduate has spoken, he's spoken well because I mean, how many Good Samaritans are there for PF? Because I don't see any good Samaritans unless they are PF supporters who were enjoying the PF regime, who were enjoying the PF, contracts. So these are the so-called good Samaritans. So basically, I think that is like my friend has said, it's just giving them the money and then come and say, oh, you're paying for them. You give them the money so they don't see that you have the money to pay, and you act like you are innocent. You have no money. I haven't got money to pay. But in actual fact, you have a lot stashed somewhere. So I can't see a minister not to have enough money to pay, because I think all the money that went out of the coffers of the government, they must have gone to the ministers. Were the top guys. Of course, they knew about it. They were taking the lion's share, probably. So that was a lie, basically, to say he hasn't got money to pay. He's just, the Good Samaritan was one of his, maybe even his company and contract, just hiding. Like you've seen the land, the scandal of land. That is all the issue that now are coming off. So that guy is not a good Samaritan. That company, no good Samaritan, just a backhander. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Definitely. All right. So anyway, let's place one more video, because today we've got a lot of topics to talk about. We're also going to be talking about the Ministry of Lands, plus the Kasama girl incidents where we had the man, looking at naked pupils. So we've got a lot of things to talk about. So anyway, let me play this clip right over here. Then we're going to have a quick discussion with regards to one of these statements that was released by a named person belonging to the Patriotic Front.
The one who's an ambassador for such values. We hope the statement he made or is reported to have been made by the president, I hope we stick with it. But what I can just tell you that there are already organizations that have come in this country that are beginning to hold workshops with members of parliament, selected members of parliament, to try and talk to them about issues of gays, lesbians, and all these rights.
But the president made that clear. Mr. Nakachinda, allow me to interject on that one, because he's made it clear, and then not just once, but
I've referred to it.
Yes, but twice. That I hope at the press conference where you were saying you're speaking off cuff, he referred to it, and then just a few days ago he referred to it again.
And that's what I'm saying, that I hope what he's saying is true, because there are many things Mr. Kinda said which he has backtracked on. So there are organizations already in Zambia that are having workshops with some MPs to do with the, LGBT rights. I hope the nomenclature is well, put. We know that there are some media houses that have one or two, that are silently beginning to advocate and so on, and they are being distributed in a systematic manner. And I want to believe that at some point when the launch happens, they would have had people placed in strategic institutions, media, lawyers, and all these, parliament, so that when that agenda begins, it receives, support in terms of propaganda to impose it on the Zambian people. So all I'm saying is that the Binoculars is watching all these activities. Very soon there is going to be a public debate that will be sponsored by these organizations, by some selected members of parliament, to go and debate as a test drive, to debate for or against gays and lesbianism. Just watch a space, and in a few weeks that will begin to happen.
Mr. Nakachinda, let's look at another pertinent issue.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was Raphael Nakachinda trying to promote some cheap propaganda. Out of course, somebody has corrected me, saying, kindly rewrite the statement about Zambian men watching Kasama Girls Secondary School pupils bath. It's not Zambian men. Please single out those guys. I'm sorry. I meant there's a few individuals, not the whole entire Zambian men. I meant a few individuals who were involved in this act, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So let's talk about the cheap propaganda from Mr. Binoculars, talking about the issues of gayism and the LGBT, LG. Oh my God, the alphabet community. You know, I don't want to get in trouble with this community. So yeah, what do you think about that cheap propaganda coming in from Mr. Raphael Nakachinda? Who's going to go first? Well, anybody. Mr. Mpombo, go first. 90 seconds. We pass it over to the next people.
Yes. Thank you so much. On LGBT, I think here in Europe, you know, it's quite a hot issue. It is there, not only in Europe, in the United States and everywhere. It is there. So the question is
right.
this.
Let's get it right. It's LGBTQ. Sorry about that.
Thank you so much. It's very complicated to repeat that, but anyway, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Right. Listen, it is a reality. And it is not something that comes this year or the last century or the past 2 centuries. My dear, these questions, these things have been there before Jesus Christ, after Jesus Christ, even now it is there. Even in Zambia, Mr. Muna, well, let's face the reality. It is there in Zambia. There are these people, okay? Whether you can change the name, it doesn't mean anything. Give it the name you want. Rainbow, LGD, whatever. Call it the name you want. It has been there even in Zambia. What the Zambians, I think they are against is the so-called pride and giving rights and all these things, and which I think Zambia is free. It's a country which is free and can decide. But Mr. Muna, I think you are a journalist.
I'm not a journalist, by the way. There's a lot of misconception. I'm not a journalist. I'm just.
Who are you? Who are you?
I'm just an ordinary guy with a mic and some lights.
All right. How do you tell me?
Journalist. Journalist, Papa.
Are you a blogger? Are you a blogger? How do you tell yourself?
Me, I'm just a youth, a voice for the youth.
Okay, all right. Now, the voice for our youth, Mr. Muna, the voice for our youth. Now, listen, my gentleman. Let's not fall into such discussion. It's quite delicate. The more we discuss, when you discuss certain things, certain issues which are so delicate, let's take the priorities. What is priority?
Mr. Pombo, the reason why I brought that up is due to the fact that the binoculars team is getting to twist the words of the president, because according to that statement, right, he's twisting it. And this is also the same with the previous statement of the Clique Of Thieves. They are getting to make a propaganda out of it.
Mr. Muna, you are right. You are right. But if we fall into binoculars argument, and now we fall into, tomorrow we fall into Mr. Chishimba's funny arguments and those useless things that they talk about, we are not, are we going to help? At the moment, Mr. Muna, as youth, you are a youth. You are speaking, you are the voice of the youth. Let's focus in helping our president, how he is going to fight the essential and fundamental situation in our country. About the LGBT, and we finish the letters. Well, it's not that fundamental. It's not that fundamental, gentlemen. If we are going to discuss it. There will come a time when the parliament is going to discuss it, because they are Zambians. In Ndola, I saw those people. These people, they are Zambians who are this and that. They are oriented for this, for that, but not talking about the rights, because it's not our culture. Traditionally, Zambia has not that culture. Traditionally, some of the European countries, they have it as a culture traditionally. So, that is my point. Me, I would just say this, Mr. Muna, and here I conclude. I think even the topics, as you bring the topics, let's not answer to useless and provocative topics from Mr. so-called binoculars, because it's also useless. Just does nothing to do with binoculars. Just
network connection.
It's just disorienting anyway. It has nothing to do with. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Binoculars, no binoculars. It doesn't make sense. His responsibility. This guy, Chishimba Kambwili, binoculars fella. Their responsibility is to make confusion in the way the president Hakainde Hichilema is going to follow to save this mother Zambia country, which has been destroyed by the PF. This is a reality. So I advise you, Mr. Muna, please, topics are things like that, maybe to make a comment, can make a comment, but then it's not conducive to waste too much time on it. I would prefer you can help the president. How? The president is going to, he has to follow. He has to follow these guys until the end. Otherwise, our president Hakainde Hichilema would lose the grip. Thank you so much. So the LGBT for me is not a question. Has it been there since? Yes, it has been there since. What is the difference at the moment? They just want to paint Mr. Hakainde Hichilema that he is embracing the Western world. This is the key. PF were with China. Hakainde Hichilema has the Western world as friends. They are saying, no, Western world is bringing the rubbish like this and like, I don't know. Please don't quote me wrong. I'm not saying that those people who do these things, they are well. I'm saying, they are saying Hakainde Hichilema is bringing this topic, which is not fundamental to the Zambian culture. That's it. Thank you so much. I submit. Thank you.
All right, good. All right, so now moving on to the Unza protests. There's something that that happened with regards to the freedoms of expression, and people are able to conduct peaceful protests. Of course, last year and the previous years, we couldn't experience such type of freedoms, and this is one of the reasons why we heard people like Tutwa Ngulube saying we are going to break people's bonds. But this time around, today, the Unza students had a peaceful protest, and they have raised various queries, and they are looking forward to certain changes. So my question to you after the video is, are we, or rather, were we expecting such things to, happen in this particular UPND era? And what do you think about this whole situation in comparison to the previous times with the Patriotic Front? So what can we learn from the Patriotic Front time and the current time? But before you answer that, let's just get some context with regards to the Unza situation. So let me just play it for you.
We are here and the students have arrived at the Greatest Road campus. They do not want the police to enter the campus at the moment. And we'll continue to bring you updates, being at the source of your story. The police vehicle is right there. There is a vehicle here that has arrived, and this could be the Minister of Education. We will find out soon. We will find out soon, being at the source of your story. Stay tuned to S24. We have arrived at the Greatest Road campus along with the police. But the students do not want to see the police here. They do not want to allow the police to enter the campus. But there is a government vehicle here, and it could be the Minister of Education, as the students were told that they will be addressed by the minister. These students are protesting for various reasons that include the fact that state-owned company ZESCO is going to load shed the University of Zambia as well as surrounding.
There you have it. So that was a peaceful protest that was conducted today. no bones were broken. But before you give me your 2 cents, let me also take you back to last year with regards to the atmosphere and how things were done. So let me play you a clip from last year showing the notion and the sentiments with regards to such types of freedoms.
Conduct itself. He himself, my younger brother, is got an attribute to him of breaking bonds. If you just turn off the cameras, you may find that my bonds are broken. And I want you to know that in this country, law is administered selectively. If I issued exactly that statement that Honorable Ngulube issued about breaking people's bonds, as was the case when our former vice president, you know, the fat one, issued in a metaphor.
We don't know. Who took that video, first of all, of me saying we should break people's bonds? Where is the video?
So here we have Mr. Tutwa Ngulube live on TV denying the fact that he said that he was going to break the bonds of people who were going to be found wanting. He's live on TV denying. You know, so that's the audacity of our previous leaders. But anyway, let's continue.
To be protected.
Yes, that video.
Please do not. One vice president of ours in the past used a metaphor that I'm going to come for your throat. He spent almost 2 years in court. Here's an MP who threatened to break bonds.
Whose bonds did I threaten to break?
Ask the police to break the youth's disgruntled youths. But let me come to your question.
We want to urge our youths to say anyone who participates in such kind of activities will be treated as a lawbreaker. And we urge the police, when you detain such people, don't even give them police bond. Let the people of Zambia live their lives in peace. We cannot be incited every time one politician or one NGO is not happy with anything. They should take our people in the streets. The police must be ready for them, break their bonds if possible. Let the people know.
There you have it. He was on TV denying that he said it. And mind you, this man is a lawyer, a well-respected, questionably. And he was saying, do not even give them police bond. He said that, you know, and with regards to what President Hichilema said with, police bonds and giving people their rights to sort of be out of prison when they have like a bailable offense, we have this blatant type of audacity, and it's just mind-boggling how he could be live on TV, no remorse, but still denying. Anyway, Mr. Mtonga, what is your opinion? But Unza did protest peacefully. No bonds were broken. Nobody was killed. Nobody was arrested. I mean, maybe some people were arrested, but at least unmute your audio.
Sorry. Yes, that was very, very, I mean, to just see that, it was very wonderful. It was so exciting to just see the kids without any harassment from the police. And to me, the police should be talking to the kids, say, okay, you want to have a riot, protest, let's help you. We'll just control the group just by the side. Work with them if they want to be involved, not to come in and, in a way to like Nakachinda is talking about. So those were, that guy is a cadre. You can see how he's dressed up. His language cannot change, even if he comes as a minister or whatever. It can never change, because these are the guys that they think only of violence is the only solution. So now when they see this in Haka in the UPND era, it is something that's very, it makes my heart glad. I was so glad to see the kids having the freedom to demonstrate and just go and complain to the leader, because you can only complain to the leader and then things are being heard. Because if you're complaining to the to the teachers, they won't take it any further than the admin of the university. So the purpose of them going there, at least the president will be able to hear them and he will act on it. But the people like the former, the former minister, so the former PF, those guys were thugs. Thugs just know violence, and that's why we had all capitalism in the country, because they never know how to use the law to cook. The police were also brainwashed. You know, they became thugs like the leaders. Basically, so this is now time for peace. We want to see peace, and we don't want to see anybody. And these guys want to undermine Hakainde in any way. But thank God there wasn't anybody injured or anybody, I think, even arrested. I don't know if there was any arrest, but it was quite a good, peaceful protest, which I think it's the kind of the freedom, the democracy allows that. Even here, when they're doing protest, the police just walk by the side to see that there is no violence. That's the whole purpose of the police, to keep the peace of the citizen, not to harass the citizen. So basically, what the police should do is to line up, just walk on the side to control the group, so that they're not doing violence. Instead of them intimidating them. That's what is supposed to be done.
Right. So my question is, what has changed? Because clearly, same police, same nation, same youths, but we are seeing different outcomes and the approach is different. So what basically has changed?
It's leadership. Leadership comes from the head. If your head is sick, the whole body is sick. Okay? So basically what it is the leader, once he speaks the word, it cascades down to the citizen. And the police, they've got them. It's time to work, and there should be no, without investigating, arresting people for nothing. And those kids were just doing what they're complaining, the fed up of of being being undermined and being abused by the university. So they went to complain to their head to say, can you hear us? Because if we complain to these guys, they don't say anything, they don't do anything. So the president is able to change things when you go. So that is what is supposed to happen in democracy. Kids are going freely, to complain their grievances to the leader. And because the other leaders, the principals, don't seem to take note of that. So therefore, it is better to go to the head, which is the main part of the communication will be quicker than having the Chinese whisper coming from here. It gets to the president, it is distorted, that there were violence and all that.
Definitely. Let's pass it over to Jason. Jason, what is your opinion? Do you agree that follow good leadership, things start happening in the right way? So what is your opinion on the Unza protest? Compare it with the previous situations during the Patriotic Front tenure. The mic is muted. Unmute.
First and foremost, good evening to you.
Good evening.
And good evening, the other panelists. Mr. Mtonga, how are you?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
It's good to see you, and it's also good
to see you too.
To air our views concerning what is going on in our country. Like you have said, that is very true. Because amenshi teti ambio kunini kolupiriao amenshi nini kapolupiriao. So what that means is whatever that is coming from the top, it always goes down to the feet. So I just want to commend the current administration, because there is implementation on what they are saying. Because the president from the very go, he spoke about the division of power and to allow the country to experience the rule of law, at least for once. And this is what we witnessed today. Because if it was in the previous regime, the breaking of bonds would have been witnessed. The tear gassing would have been witnessed. But this is just showing clearly to say, you know, people of integrity are always people who keep their words. They don't just do things in order to please themselves. Just because he's there, he understands. Hakainde Hichilema always understands that he's in leadership as a servant in order to serve people. So when a child, even in the house, when a child cries to say, Daddy, this is what I'm experiencing. As a responsible parent, you should take a minute, at least, to give an ear to that child. Then in panga sense, that's when you can react as a parent. Because umwana chakwate nsambu, but shari kwatana poshile perera. So iwe wamufyashi wamfafe omwana mbo kulira taula umfana wino now we sa plukutu. As a result, Brother Muna, in according to what I've observed, mwala sangati that type of parenting, mwala sangati naba nabalo naika. People, children get spoiled because they don't have a listening parent. So, I can just commend the current administration that indeed we are witnessing leaders who understand what it means by democracy, who understand what it means to be in leadership, and also who understand what it means to build a legacy for the children's children. And however, I should also advise the students that as we are enjoying this peace, because you know, it's very expensive to have. Let us not just be bought cheaply by cheap propaganda and whatever nonsense that comes. We start saying, let us go to the streets. We need to evaluate as students. I'm sure there are student boards, they have got administration. So before they even think of going to the streets, they should reconsider all those channels of communication. I think that's what I can say concerning the Unza student. I'm just commending the current administration that at least they are able to show the Zambians and they are able to show the world that a country is supposed to read by the principle of rule of law, whereby it should have the listening here. And I also feel, Muna, that I should also comment on Chitimukulu's sentiments concerning voting.
All right, okay, just make it brief because we've got a lot of topics to talk about. So 90 seconds and we move on.
Yeah, I think I can. I'm happy. I've seen Uncle Oscar is back. Uncle Oscar Mpombo is back on media. He mentioned to say he's coming back to Zambia, going back to Luapula, start working. And I quoted him. He said he will start working on the psychological notion of the people, because you know, Muna. Balandati yafumile muifwesa yaya muchulu. Somebody having a privilege of ukubomukuru doesn't mean ukwebat na wisdom chiabapo. So it because of the philosophy that PF embraced. PF wanted to make anybody who would support him to be a demon. So Kariaka virus muna takalapwa. As you may be aware, we are just like 2 months away from PF regime. So so that's why we need ideas like Uncle Oscar has to come up with commissions whereby we go flat out on the ground and begin to sensitize the fellow Zambians, because I don't think majority Zambians are able to listen to what we are discussing here. And these issues, Muna, that you are bringing up, they are important issues. So if we can have like people like Ankompombo to come on board and engineer projects like start educating people on how countries are developed, based on the mindset, because the problem that we have is the mindset. We don't really understand what it means to be a nation. We are still thinking, let's Stone Age, if we're triba Bemba, if we're triba Tonga, if we're triba Nani, if we're triba Nani. Mwamonaka, apopene, that weakness is being witnessed. I always talk about that. So that mindset, if we can work on that mindset, we diminish that type of thinking whereby if we should reach a level whereby whenever we see an individual comes on board, like HH has come on board, we look at that person as a Zambian, detaching that person from an ethnic grouping on an ethnic background. We need to appreciate that individual based on what is able to contribute to the development of the country. Because at the end of the day, we cried to fight PF out so that we can have a Messiah come on board, so that together we can build Zambia. Now, if we start hearing sentiments from chiefs and who are the most influential, start coming up with such sentiments, it means that mentality is not going to end. But it will only end if we can have avenues whereby people can be start educated on what it means to be a patriotic Zambian. Because a patriot, you are supposed to protect everyone, regardless whether it's Tonga, Insenga, is what. If you are a patriot, you are mandated, it is your responsibility as a citizen of the country to protect everyone, to protect the interest of everyone. I think I submit for now. We can move on to other issues.
Yes, Mr. Pombo, you can give us your quick take in 90 seconds. 90 seconds. Then we move on to the next topic.
On the university students?
Yes.
Well, that was quite a very, very beautiful scene to see. Wonderful. It brought me back to the times when I was at Chiwala boarding school, when we had the freedom to go and protest at Mukuyu. Wonderful, wonderful. It is just it's just a consequence. As think of what our president is emphasizing: the freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom to protest. But also, I think I would advise, I would talk to the university students, I think, to also follow some channels. I wouldn't be in favor of people running to the president straightforward. I wouldn't be in favor of that. I think we have ministers, we have members of parliament, we have ministers responsible. So if our students, before they can resort maybe to go to the president, if they can follow some certain channels, if these channels they fail, then it is of course they can even reach the head of state. Otherwise, it was very beautiful. The police, we appreciate. The police needs to be friends with the people. Whoever protest is a citizen of Zambia, is a person to love. And it reminds me of like here in Europe. In Europe, when you want to protest, you go to the police, you give the police your reason you are protesting, you tell them the route you are going to use, the police, they follow you, and you do what you protest in peace, and you come back home. And they give you the time so that you cannot inconvenience the motorists and the other citizens, because also the other citizens of Zambia who are supposed to reach from point A to point B, they had the right to do that. So I think inconveniencing also traffic, well, we can do much better. But otherwise, kudos to the University of Zambia, kudos to the police. This is what we were missing. We were missing this, to see the police as the security forces. Wonderful, kudos. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. So now moving on, right? We're going to play something. Of course, you don't really necessarily have to comment if you don't want and all that stuff. But here on Z Corner, we play, or rather, we share what's happening in Zambia. Like, we talk about the trending topics, you know. So let's say, for example, there's a trending topic which is popular. We always let the people know so that they can be updated. So to all my panelists, if you don't feel like commenting about this one, you know, you can let other people who want to do so do so. So this is a situation regarding the Kasama girls' incidents where we had a man, and there's also another man who was allegedly doing some questionable things. But anyway, let me play it so that you listen for yourselves.
Okay, first, I'm not sure when you're gonna. What's some stage from Bakasama Girls? So much less fashion. So, one fish. Phone much of the request.
The cook shibata.
Then the phone na coming a free. Don't pretend. Davis now. Okay, Davis take a pesa. For watching better Ramsanga. Then what if next? Don't pretend. Then abaswingo abantu bile mpya makanasha. Mutuma kwisa ma photos. Mutuma kujema.
Ni bana ni amashina abarumendo pa intercity. Abarumendo pa intercity ni bana ni amashina. Franco who?
Nishaka ni France point na pa Facebook kwa ndo msinde.
Kama mna napo nangwe?
We.
Ngama namba zima operation sana.
Pa Facebook.
Ele akuingisha nsho yine. Alebe pa fyo nai. Bala kumana.
Ishingo kwa intercity nishiyako. Bali kwa business hiyo nchitamuni. Ishingo kwa fungile. Mkwai? Mpia shingo.
Ishingo kwa.
Mpera 1020.
Germany. $120.
Tunga.
Okay, so that's basically the gist of it. Apparently, this young man works with other men, and they sort of take pictures and then they send it to people allegedly from Germany. So it seems like it's a booming business, you know? So this is what the lack of employment does, and we're having such incidences happening all over Zambia. This is not only happening in Kasama, it's happening in most boarding schools where people are being paid huge sums of money by foreigners to take nude pictures of our Zambian women. So anyway, we don't really have to talk about this. It's self-explanatory. Obviously, this is immoral to the highest core. Unless there's somebody who wants to talk about this, then we can move on to the next topic.
Bit on that. You see, here it's like legalized. These nude magazines and all that, they all legalized this side. But in Zambia, I mean, that's really preposterous. This is a syndicate. They need to break these syndicates. Basically, like you said, it's not only in Kasama. It should be almost maybe all the girls' school. You should check the security. They must make sure that whoever is working as a security guard or anybody passing by, they should have them checked, make sure they are not going to be involved with such things, because this is really, really I mean, it's something which should not be tolerated, like the LGBT thing. LGBT should not be tolerated. Those are things which spoil the country, because you end up getting a name from somewhere. You wonder, why are they calling me this? Because they've seen it in a magazine and they've seen that these girls are coming from Zambia. Then they spoil the name of the country. That's how people you won't know that they're talking about you, because they've seen they watch the porns in the magazines, and because these girls, these guys, they write their names on there and an introduction of where this girl comes, all these things. So we need to clamp down on this. Let the government make sure clamp down on this. That guy should review more names and let the syndicate be broken, because it's not right for them to be going around. And security should be increased in the girls' schools, so that there's nothing like those peeping toms coming around and taking pictures of girls, being disgraced without knowing that they are being disgraced worldwide, because media is worldwide. So please, that's a good campaign. Let's get the security increased on girls' boarding schools.
All right. Okay. So, does anybody want to add their thoughts to this particular topic before we move on to the Ministry of Lands conversation? Because there is a lot of things that we need to decipher. And so, Jason, Oscar, we can move on to the next topic if you don't have any opinions on this Kasama girl situation.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I think we can move on. Yeah, to the other topic. I think only 1 second, 5 seconds. Sorry, 5 seconds. If I can just say, we need to stop that trend. It has a potential. It has a potential to ruin even innocent young girls and boys at schools. Because if some of those who are very weak, if they hear that you make money from that, they can even do it voluntarily. Because here in Europe, we have young girls and boys who do it and they sell on internet. So let's fight hard. Let's help the schools. Let's help the parents really to stop that trend. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So now moving over to the issue of land and the problem that we have at the Ministry of Lands. This is a huge problem because a lot of people who have even tried to accumulate land in Zambia, there is always issues and there's a lot of problems at the Ministry of Lands. For example, in Ndola, I know there's a lot of encroachment, and there's a lot of people who were obviously displaced by Amakadas that time. And this is one of the reasons why in areas like Lusaka, right, we have very bad, planning with regards to how things are supposed to be properly built and following the right rules and all that stuff, because so getting back to the Ministry of Lands, how can we get to correct the land issue problem? Because there's a lot of discrepancies with regards to how much title did Onazi and the actual people who own those lands. So how can we get to make sure that we correct the land issue? And while sticking on the issue of land, right, we are receiving reports that a lot of foreigners actually own a lot of land in Zambia, especially our friends from the east. They've been buying and accumulating a lot of land. So should Zambians be entitled to land? Let's say, for example, you're a Zambian native. Are you supposed to claim land from the government and own and inherit land? So free flow, Mr. Mtonga.
Yeah, basically, I think it's really, that's where there was no control. You see, because the foreigners have accumulated land because there was no control. Most of it was through corruption. So they paid the people. I mean, I heard one Chinese boasting that I don't talk to small boys, I talk to the big people. So they got the land because they were able to pay. they got all these, the guys in the land, they were also easily bribed. So they could even, when you go to lands or mines, to go and try and get a license, you find that they snob you so much. Then when a Chinese walks in, everybody's on the toes, and they know that this guy is going to pay them. So they start running around like they're so busy. When a black person, a Zambian person comes there, they feel like there's nothing, they're so sluggish. They don't seem to want to work. And that is what corruption does. So these guys, literally, they sold the country to these foreigners. So it is time the government took an audit of these lands so we can know how these guys got the land, because we need land as Zambians. So when we go, land, you can see Lusaka. I don't see any land in Lusaka anymore. Is there any piece of land you want to buy land in Lusaka? A plot is so exorbitant because who is that? The foreigners have hiked the price. So we need to have, this looked into with the binoculars like Nakachinda. That's what you should be looking at. The things you are selling, that's what we should look at. Use the binoculars and find them out. How did these guys get land? And this is the same case of having all these mines. You see, you find that the case is land and mines are all connected. So
very connected.
They were giving to each other, and they were, they are in the office and thinking like they're innocent, but they've got underground cartel who are working for them. These people are still in the office now. So they are still trying to undermine the president and the UPND. So these people need to be moved and get their land back, get everything that they have stolen, everything, the land, the mines, let them be brought back into the, to the Zambians, the genuine owners who are, entitled to that, not by bribery or corruption. Let there be a total survey and, audit of this and brought back to normal, and let's give to the right people. The youth need to have some land. They need to have some mines. Should not be, these guys, the way they pocketed the money, they're still having the mines. And so we need to get this back. I hope the president will be able to look into this and be able to redistribute to Zambians, because it is time Zambians felt the freedom. We've felt the freedom of leadership. We want to feel the freedom of economic success, because this is a time. The president has already started by doing the CDF. It is an economic liberation. So we need to have that to begin to take over, because the only way the country can develop is by us Zambians having the money. You guys, if you don't spend the foreigners don't spend money in your country. They send it away. So we need to get the money back into the pockets of Zambians so that the economy is boosted and therefore the country develops. Otherwise, the country won't develop. That's what they do here. Small businesses are so much in UK because they promote that, because they are the people who distribute money to the common community. So that is what we need to do. The president needs to redistribute the land and all these mine issues, look into it and do an audit and do a redistribution of it.
Definitely.
I submit.
Mr. King B, what is your contribution? King B is sleeping.
Hello, King B.
Yeah, he's snoozing. We can't hear. You need to unmute unmute your mic. Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Mona.
Good evening. What's your contribution?
Though I didn't see.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll kick him out. Mr. Mtonga, there are a lot of discrepancies at the Ministry of Lands, and recently we had a situation where we heard that database na bafuta, so our records have gone. So how can we prevent discrepancies? Because it seems there's always double documents everywhere. So how can we make sure that Ngabapangama entries and they have records, those records don't get outed? Because a lot of people have lost a lot of property, a lot of land, because Amakadas were able to go and harass Ama people, and then they were able to change the documents. So how can we make sure that we have databases which are authentic and they can't really be outed afterwards?
I think what we need is to have basically, technology. You can do a backup on the system. That would be the best way. But in actual fact, if to recoup the land that has been taken over by cadres and all that from owners, like the president has said, those that were fired by tribal lines, let there be an audit of saying whoever the land was grabbed from them, let them come and explain and tell us, so we can know who grabbed your land and where was your land. That can be the way they can take back the land from the cadres who took the land. So we need to, the government needs to do this to get the only way they can get the land. But to make sure they've got database on the computer, backed up, and even now, who was responsible for the documentation? How can the documents be raised? So these people that are in the offices, all of them should be held responsible. Why did they have to raise the data? How did the data get lost all of a sudden when UPND wins and all the data has been rubbed off? Evidence destroyed. So we need to get them, the police need to question these people. They need to call them in and let them explain how data got lost and why we need that data. It's very, very important. And there's a lot of people who can give evidence to some of these, whistleblowers around. Let them say who and how did the data get lost. Therefore, we need to put them to book, to question these guys, because we need to restore this country. Land, mines, everything needs to get back to Zambians, as Nakachinda has said. So I rest my case.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of issues. This is going to be our concluding video topic, and then we call it a day. So let's just watch this, and then we'll be able to talk after the video is done.
Your Excellency, sir, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Commander-in-Chief of Defense Force, Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu. We came to you, sir, to lobby for Kapalala and the 6 markets for Kabushi constituency. And you responded so fast. The money which you gave us, this is the money, sir. The 300,000 kwacha. And owners, the money, they are here, sir. We are just waiting to come up with a good system so that this money can be put to the good use. Yes. Sir, we thank you and may God bless you.
Okay, so those were, this was one of the many incidences that we witnessed during the rule of the Patriotic Front. And mind you, this is a man who says his team has got no capacity to handle CDF. But wasn't that... This is barely a year after that particular video. So
yeah.
What do you make of that situation?
You see, this was a cowboy government, which was like, you go and rob a bank and distribute the money. That's how they do it. You see that? So
right
now here's a genuine man, comes, he brings a CDF, yeah, and he gives him even more. Now he freaks out. He says, oh, this haven't got even capacity, because you see what his capacity is. The capacity is used to is to distribute to his cadres like that, on the open. That money wasn't accounted for. Was it accounted for?
I
No.
doubt.
That came like from Lungu's pocket. You see how they say the money you gave us. Lungu didn't have, he just took that money without even recording that he's given 300,000 to Kabushi to do, because the guy who was talking there, he was bootlicking Lungu, so he was able to get money just from Lungu anyhow, anytime. But he's telling me, Kabushi, what has he done with that money? Did he develop Kabushi? Kabushi is the worst part of, there are those houses in Kabushi which are old in the federal, where they say literally, I don't even, I've got my auntie, she still lives there, and, I had to build another shelter next to it. This is a place that needs to be developed, to be changed. There's no road in Kabushi, mind you. When it's raining, it's literally, even the vehicle can't go there. Even a four-wheel drive, you have to struggle to get in the potholes. So this guy, he hasn't got an idea, because he has no sense how to do the budgeting and all that, or to develop the country. His aim is just to make money and go and drink, give the cadres, they
Still
go and
for the
drink.
future.
That's it. No, yeah, because this guy, he ate all the seeds, they eat all this, everything without considering the future. So now he's got a government which is in control, and it's talking sense. He's freaking out, and he's thinking, no, I can't do that, because he doesn't want to be controlled. Lungu didn't control him. He just said, can I have 300,000? And Lungu gives him. Oh, can I have this? Lungu gives him. So this is the man that has nothing. He never even did.
But how did the Kabushi people get to elect him? It's unfortunate that the Kabushi graduate and the Kabushi investigator have left. I want to find out, how did this man end up being a minister of Lusaka, and how?
I've told you. You know what? One, he used the cadres in Kabushi, the intimidation. Remember, Mbwili was talking about him.
Yeah, the Holy Spirit.
So he intimidated the people of Kabushi, and they made sure that he gets through it, and they did even rig probably. And then he gets into power, and it's like there was no, I don't know who was there as the UPND, even if they were there, but they were intimidated. Last time the UPND didn't keep the vote, protect the vote. They literally didn't have the system which they had this year in 2021. So it is very, very, it was free for all. This is on a PF guy, so they had to vote for PF. The others were all on a tribal line, and they kept preaching the tribalism issue. So there was no way that, in Ndola, like everybody is a Bemba, because everybody speaks Bemba. That's not true. You see, so he won it on that, I think, on the ticket of intimidation. And he was bootlicking Lungu. So he had a lot of money to give to the people to vote. They used to give money.
Yeah, I've never seen dignified bootlicking where a person even calls himself the bootlicking president. He even... Anyway, we were not going to say much, otherwise we'll look so petty.
I know.
Anyway, Sir Jacobs, welcome to the program. What is your contribution?
It seems the network is
the network today is it's
the problem. Some people.
Yes, the network is not really clear. Okay.
I think what we need, we are thanking God for this. To just summarize for you, we are thanking God that these guys have moved out. If they had this term again, the country would have gone to the dogs. And this would have been the final destruction of Zambia. And we wouldn't, I mean, definitely, I came to Zambia in 2020. I wasn't even, I couldn't even feel the freedom. It was like, there was that spirit of intimidation, which
Right.
when you're walking in Zambia in the streets, you find that, what the heck is happening? People are looking like sad and, now no hope. But now the people have got hope, and there is a lot of hope in Zambia. I could feel it. I haven't been there yet since but I can feel it here. Like from here, we felt the peace. We felt the freedom.
Right,
So
right.
that's what I'm saying. Thank God we have PF kicked off.
But sir, do you think now that we have entered this new phase and people are beginning to witness a lot of freedom, do you think they are going to, the people like the Mr. Binoculars will use this as an opportunity to incite people to take advantage? Do you think we are going to reach that level? Because we saw the students protest, and I've got very good intel that the farmers are also planning protests now. And then after farmers, we obviously are going to witness like more and more people begin to protest, and there's just going to be a wave of complaints, a wave of protests. Do you really think this is going to affect the UPND governance and how people regard the tenure of President Hichilema?
Do you see? There's another problem when you give freedom too much to the people. That's why the problem comes in. But the other issue is a matter of education. Educating the people, saying you've got the freedom, but don't abuse it. Because you can't just come up, because you have the freedom, you want to, protest. Why don't go through, like my brother Mpombo said, they should go through the channels. Because there is a minister. First, before the minister, there is a ward councillor. Now we've got CDF, we've got ward councillor. Why should they go to State House when the ward councillors, the chairman of the constituencies where the money has been sent, they are the people in charge. They are the people responsible. So whatever the farmers are trying to complain in their region, they should first go to their ward chairman, ward councillors and all these chairmen, to say, this is the issue we are having, not straight to the president, because the president has given the responsibility. And before the president, you have got the district, there's the district guys, there's minister, MPs for the area. So these guys should be exhausted before they start thinking of coming to the president. If these guys don't answer, that's why we have an MP to represent them. So they should go to the MP and let him go present the case to the president. Because you can't have every Jim and Jack going to the president and, trying to complain, and even for the little thing, we haven't got seed. Fertilizer hasn't come. You want to go to the president. The president has already given the authority to the ministers. The ministers are supposed to take responsibility and begin to sort out their issues, the issues in their own, constituencies. That's why he's given them money. So let there be nobody revolting because they have the freedom to protest, freedom of speech. This is, shouldn't be like that. It should be following the channels. And they should be educating. The police also should be educating these people, saying, look, you can protest when you have gone through these channels. They should write down, these are the channels of your protest. Go through this. If you are exhausted this, then come to the president. Otherwise, don't go to the president. Some you just want to go see the president or maybe State House. Why not just go there to visit if you want to? Because now I can see people go there on Sunday, have church service. Just go and have a church service, not complaining every minute. So it's lack of education, educating the people and informing them what the procedure should be. So that's what I think the police should be educating, and the ministers should be educating the people.
All right. Okay. So my final question. So my question is with regards to accountability, because we obviously saw some incompetent people. We're not going to mention any names. Desist from participating in, for example, the CDF because they've got no capacity. So, according to your own understanding, what subtle and important changes has President Hichilema done to increase accountability so far?
Well, here is a president who's first, the CDF itself is passing the buck. You see what I mean? They're passing it over to the lowest, to the ward councillor, and all those guys. So these guys have been given the responsibility to do the budgeting and planning and all for their constituency. So therefore, if any problem arises there, it has to be first. You have the constituents, then you have your district, is it? Ward, constituents, district. So the MPs needs to be, taken. They should be responsible for that instead of the president. So the responsibility has been given to the ward councillors, chairman, constituencies, and then the MPs. If the MP does not take control of how that money and the people, in fact, even the community itself, because the community has been, they will have to be in the budgeting community, is a budgeting team. So they've got to bring up their ideas. If this fail, if there be any embezzlement of finances, they can't be running to the president straight. One, they've got to find out the chairman, the people who are responsible for the constituency, and who sat the councils, who sat on that ward, planning committee. Then the minister who is responsible for that area should be also, he should explain how the money has disappeared. So the responsibility is totally to the community and to the to the MP and his constituents.
Right. So let's pass it over to King B. I hope you're ready this time. What's your take?
Yes. On the issue of the CDF funds, yes. What the president did on this one is an excellent job, because development is supposed to start from the ground level. So he did well to decentralize the CDF funds. So because there is councillors, MPs, then the people in the community, they are the one who's supposed to see what the problem, what they are facing, and to come up with a program, what they should do or to develop their wards, those constituencies. Then I heard the other people, they were complaining of the same decentralization of CDF funds. The same people who were complaining over the same, they are the same people who were no, the president drama is 300 something. But what they are scared is to be accountable for that CDF funds. Yes.
Now the whole Kabushi is going to miss out because one named person is afraid of being accountable. Now once about Kabushi. But
so that's that, Mr. Muna.
All right. Okay, Van Newton, give us your contributions. We close this. Van Newton. Van Newton, Chivuku. Ikawa paswa intervention na mute point. Ni Chivuku.
Hivyo.
Ni Chivuku hii. Katata.
All right. Okay, I'm actually about to kind of pamula basaba. They can let's speak about Vaisana Chivuku na kachasu pamula basa ni shabantu bane.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is what happens on live. Vaisa pove na Chivuku zone na.
Wow.
Anyway, gentlemen, give me your concluding remarks. We call this, and I thank you for all your contributions. Let's just wrap this up before Nabambe Abachibuku Tabarais.
Anyway, thank you so much. This has been good topic. So we need, keep up the good work and let us know any other support you want to help. So we need, this is freedom of speech now, or else by now, if you were PF, you would have been locked up because you are trying to bring chaos by talking the truth. So we thank God for that. So definitely what I would just say is these people, they are talking too much. The whole purpose, when you've seen a thief, akaponya theft, akaponya kuchenjeresha kulanda sana mama. Kulanda sana let's see, to overpower you. So that they're trying, that's what they're trying to do, to talk too much about problems, about issues that which are irrelevant. They have nothing to do with economic development. We want the country to be developed, and these guys are talking rubbish, trying to talk about LGDP, GDP, GDT, whatever. It is time to get these guys off the back and let the government scrutinize them, because they are talking too much while they have their backyard full of money, which they've stolen. This is, last I read an article, is it in the thing, the Bank of Zambia governor is saying he never had an idea. He didn't even hold the cash. So he had no idea what was going on in the bank. What was going on? That was found with the Bank of Zambia bags. So how did that get out? The governor has no idea. I thought the governor is like a president. He's supposed to be briefed of every movement of finances, huge finances. He should know that. So all these are just talking too much and having nothing but empty cans make so much noise. So that's what they are trying to undermine the president and bring him down, so they can begin this. They can start thinking, oh, we are winning again, and foolish Zambians will start voting for them. And even those that are listening to their vibes. It's time PF supporters move over, because PF is dead and buried. They will be gone. They will never be seen again. Not in Zambia. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mtonga. You have been a blessing and you've been awesome. Thank you. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you so much. Good night for you too. And King B, good night.
Good night, Mr. Mtonga.
Good night. Good night, viewers.
All right. Okay, so King B, give us your concluding remarks. Conclude, Danny. 90 seconds, we wrap it up.
Okay. Foto ndako pakusharisha. Like the incidents, what happens in the morning, the Unza students who wanted to protest to State House. Those guys, they've got representatives. If there is something, burning issues, they're supposed to have that channel of communication with their leaders. Then all of them to match up to the State House. They were supposed to follow the channel of communication so that their burning issues are sorted out. Then in coming to other people who is trying to criticize our president, our new president, they are just talking things which are not even making sense. Now in the currently now, there is a burning, what's this? This issue of the statement issued by the president, a Clique of Thieves. Yeah, they want like, but if what president, he said as if all the presidents which ruled before, starting from our founding father up to Mr. Sata, as if he was referring to those people. Wow, he just said a small group of people, but them, they were trying to twist and manipulate the statement. You have seen. So we shouldn't like pay much attention to those tricks, what they are trying to manipulate the minds of people. Those guys, they are long gone. I think they will never bounce back to this corridor of leadership. That's what I can say.
All right. Okay. So you have a blessed night. Have a good night, King B. You've been awesome. Thank you for the support. So talk to you some other time if you're going to be able to be part of the panelists. Thank you very much for your support.
Okay.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those were my panelists. Those were the different topics that we had. And of course, before I go, let me just read some of your questions. So Sir Jacob says, well, due to technical issues, I couldn't join the live chat. All I want to contribute on was the issue of the two men who were caught watching naked girls. Like I phrased earlier in my comments, it's really a serious mental issue. So Sir Jacobs attributes their behavior to mental illness. So let me just flip over to a new camera position. Hi, now you can see me on that position. So yeah, let me read some more stuff. Evening Moon, I think the people of Kavushi had no choice. It's very disappointing to have such an individual as your representative. Then Justin further says, this is very interactive, Mona, and it really widens our understanding. Keep it up. Thank you. I shall, keep it up. So Sir Jacob says, mental issues in Zambia are largely ignored. I personally think this man needs help. I think he's suffering from a psychiatric condition known as scopophilia, which involves having recurrent preoccupation with fantasies and acts that involves observing persons, in this case, females who are naked or engaged in grooming. This applies to that second man. Henceforth, I think the Mental Association of Zambia should activity come to, okay, yeah, basically you get what he was trying to say. So with regards to mental illness, Sarah Jacobs is very right, because we really overlook mental illness in Zambia, because we've got a lot of statements saying, Mwamuna sama lila, kushipafe, and there's a lot of things that we really need to sort of decipher with regards to mental illness. And sometimes cases, when a person is found naked, they usually say nimfuiti. This person is either a wizard or a witch, or just involved in some despicable things. But there are a lot of issues that we need to be talking about, and this is one of the reasons why we created this interactive platform where you people can get to contribute and give us your non-filtered opinions. Of course, here and there we're going to be receiving some people drinking chibuku live on air, which is very unprofessional, by the way, but it is what it is. And we need to have people like Sir Jacobs, Hasalala, Mukonka, who are going to give us like a deep breakdown of the different kinds of mental illnesses that we have. Because I remember a while back, right? Even when somebody has got epilepsy, ichpumputu. There was a lot of misconceptions with regards to ichpumputu, epilepsy, and a whole lot of different things. So we need to educate our population with regards to a lot of different things: finances, leadership, the roles of citizens, mental illness, health problems. And right now we are seeing a new wave of Zambians and Zambia heading into the right position. So this is one of the reasons why we have people like Dr. Mjajati. We've got people like Dr. Elias Munsha. We've got the TV Bakwet, we've got Mr. Mtonga, Bombo, Kabushi graduate, and all these amazing people just, adding and making, or rather creating value so that the majority of our citizens get to really get enlightened with a lot of things. Of course, we need to undo a lot of things because for the past, I don't know, since independence, right, we have been in this phase where we were sort of stagnant, we weren't really progressing a lot, and we were just getting a lot of experience. But this time around, right, we need to set the record straight. We need to get things done. We need to achieve. We need to shorten the learning curve because Zambia and Kota, we are above 50 years. So we should be moving in the direction of progressively progressing by having accountable, or rather leaders who are going to be accountable, leaders who are going to bring about good development. And I'm really sure President Hichilema and his respective cabinet have been an eye-opener. Now you truly understand what leadership is all about. If you look at the jokers who were here the past 10 years, it's very evident. It's very clear to see that there's a huge discrepancy. There's a huge professional leap between the previous guys and these who are running the nation. We saw Honorable Tutwa Ngulube on TV saying he didn't utter such a statement. It was live. The whole nation saw him saying that he was going to break the bonds of citizens, but he had the audacity. He had the audacity to refuse again live on national TV. Those were your elected leaders. You allowed them to do such atrocities. You allowed it. But thank God everybody's eyes got opened and the people of Zambia stood up and we all voted out and ushered in this new Dawn government. But of course, we always have to monitor and stay vigilant. This is one of the reasons why Z Corner Community TV station is going to be here to document and archive everything that is going to be happening. The government is going to be able to listen to us. They are going to understand that the kids here are going to be discussing about us. Because the previous government, they could do whatever they wanted because they were run by a clique of, should I use thieves? By a clique of unprofessional people. So this is what we are trying to prevent. So I'm really happy that the citizens of Zambia are taking governance issues very seriously. And this time around in 2026, right, it's going to be a very tough one for whoever is going to be competing, because if you're Musevania, the bar has been set high. And this is one of the reasons why we are going to be here tirelessly. We're going to do it as much as we can. Of course, we are funding ourselves. No UPND is funding us. We're not really getting any help from anybody. We are, doing this after to our bazaar. We hustle during the day, because I've got like different gigs that I'm doing. I've got different hustles, different businesses, but I always make sure that by the end of it all, we add value to society, because this is going to determine our success as a country. Because to be honest, I am tired of being from a mediocre type of country. I want my country to be on the map. When people talk about Africa, let them talk about Zambia. Already we are leading in terms of democracy. So we need to lead in other aspects, in terms of technology, in terms of innovation, in terms of entrepreneurship. That's the trajectory that we need to go to. And we can only do this if we are collectively moving as a unit. It's not really about Nalola. It's not really about Mona. It's not really about the panelists on Zekon. It's not really about just a segmented fraction of people. We have to collectively do well as a nation. And this is why we do not want to leave anybody behind. And this is why we need to have proper dissemination of accurate and factual information so that the people are aware, they are educated, so that tribalism, since everybody has got the education of the ills of tribalism, right, they're just going to look at you as a joker, as somebody who's incompetent. So this time around, right, our mandate is to bring the IQ of the Zambians above par, so that mediocre leaders won't even have a chance to flourish and thrive. This is one of the reasons why, unfortunately, I have to cite him as an example, if you look at, the Kavushi MP, a named Kavushi MP, he is really below par, and everybody can see how much of a joker he is, and I'm not really saying this with disrespect. It is factual. We've seen his interviews. We've seen how he does things. He is obviously, he doesn't really deserve to be in that particular position. We need to have other people leading Kavushi, and all to all the Kavushi members out there, you guys already know who your MP is. You deserve better. And as youths, we are saying Zambia deserves better. Barandati imiti kula empanga. So that's why we need to have youths and all the respected citizens. Because, when we talk about youths, right, a lot of people think it's the youths versus the Zambian citizens. No, we want to collectively work together because amano yafuma muchulu ya muifwe. So we collectively need each other, the senior citizens, the youths, and the incoming generation. We need to move as a unit. We learn from our senior citizens. We also get to impact the incoming generations. That's how we move as a unit. So we are going to be here as the community TV station. Of course, you can render your help by sharing this video right now. So if you are watching me, kindly share this video on your timeline, because I'm putting in a lot of work just to have these things organized and just to make sure that you guys can clearly hear me. You can see me properly. I'm sure you can see the quality of the videos. Everything is like, we're trying to push it up a notch one time like that. So kindly share this video, and every time you see our videos pop up, please drop us some comments, share these videos, and just support and help us grow the community. That's the least that you can do. So thank you very much. I have been your humble host. My name is Muna, aka the unofficial Itunga, and I just want to thank all the different panelists that I had, all the people that consistently tune in to give their opinions. I mean, you guys are awesome. I just want to say thank you to the panelists. And just like I keep on telling you, right, at that particular point when we get to make so much money, I'm going to be able to give a token of appreciation to my panelists, because they're really putting a lot of effort and they sacrifice their time, and they say time is money. So whenever somebody's giving you their time, it means they are sacrificing a lot. So thank you very much to all the people that have managed to watch this episode up to this particular time. Thank you. Litumezi, Mulova Alehande, and have a blessed night, morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are watching us from. Thank you and take care.